Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a really great afternoon. I am. Um, I've been feeling really loose lately. I want to paint loose, so I just did a nice loose painting for a tutorial, so you can check that out. I'm sure it's probably all uploaded, excuse me, by now. Excuse me, my throat dried out. So what I'm going to do here is actually what this is too, is it's the back side of a regular watercolor paper. But the watercolor paper, you know, you can get good watercolor paper and you can get some fairly inexpensive watercolor paper for just these sorts of things without spending a lot of money, because you go through paper quite quickly. Sometimes I half it, but I'm just not bothering right now. But I have on this other side where it's really not the same as the regular watercolor side, I put watercolor grounds. I've done that actually with quite a few exercise and tutorial papers, watercolor paper, that the other side is really not all that great, or really doesn't really take watercolor because, I don't know, it's just not reversible, I guess. So we put watercolor grounds and then we just let it dry. So what we're going to do though is I just want to do some loose stuff with you. So okay, how do we do some loose flowers? So I'm going to take some water and in a kind of a circle there, I wet that paper so that when I get a color and I touch that color, well, I wanted a little more water than that. Okay. The watercolor grounds do act a tad bit differently, so I think I would have needed some more water. So let's just add more water, okay? Let's just throw it on there. There we go. Because all we're doing is getting loose. And that water is going to move around and do all these funky things. And you see it kind of collected here a little darker and collected over there a little darker. Let's add in some different colors and just kind of, you know, wing my brush around, because I'm not really, you know, defining anything here with my, you know, with my brush. And I just kind of add something there, maybe even go into some orange, put it in. So we'll watch that and you'll see how that color just kind of, you know, all the things, you can see a line here, whoops, where it's drying a little. This is still wet, but it's all just gonna dry and it'll make its own design. Okay, so let's come over here. Now, as you can see, as I'm doing this, I'm keeping this, you know, kind of like this is gonna actually be a type of a composition when we're done. So right now, I'm learning a bit more of myself in a bit about this, these watercolor grounds myself, so. But it's, you know, at least we can do these exercises and I'll get more water. Of course, I'm making this bigger, but oh well. Okay. And in the middle there, what did I do? I just swirled it, okay? So, you know, in a real quick fashion like that gives me a center, okay? And as you can see, the water, I think that's some pieces of watercolor, okay. I'll do it even some more. I can come back over here with the orange, do the same thing. So we'll, you know, and this will all, and the other thing that might happen is, which is happening there, I don't mind, because right now we're doing this. So, you know, it's okay if the watercolor mixes in with this other one. Maybe I'll just go like that and put some into that one. So that's all gonna dry. And I like to put these colors because inside these colors, when we put these colors, I'm sorry, lost my train of thought. I was thinking of something else. When we put these colors in, it's all gonna dry a certain way because it's still moving. Okay, so we got those two. And then, so I think we'll come over here. We'll make this one a little smaller and hopefully stay that way. And this would work a little bit different with the regular side of the watercolor paper. But anyway, like I said, this is what I'm using because I needed to, right now I'm almost out of watercolor paper and I'm kind of strapped at the moment with bills, so it's gonna have to wait a little bit. Maybe even dab some of this color in the center. I'll put it in the center there, but you see, look at all those beautiful colors happening. It's so pretty. And let's get a yellow. Just kind of see what happens there. Okay, just kind of let your brush kind of wing around. So going back to the flowers, all right, we've got these lines. See, it didn't go any further. That's as far as I wet the paper. So we now have these little lines that are forming, kind of like we drew it, but we really didn't. It's just that's where the water stopped, and that's how it's going to look. There is some water here that's still drying. Still drying. And we're just going to let that happen, and then I'm going to draw down from there and here, and it even will grab some of that color, and I'm gonna wing that right down from my flower. Get some darker one, and we're just gonna do that, okay? And that's gonna run down and do whatever it's going to do. And again, if you want some of that green in the center or whatever, just go in, and it's not dry yet, so you can fool around there. All right, so now I'm going to, this is just all wet on wet, folks. I wanted to just kind of do this with you. So we're taking come right from there, and actually I don't even need any color if I don't want it, but if I did want it, I just put it in. But it's wet, so you see it's gonna move a little bit, and so we'll come over to this one. Well, whoops, first I'm gonna get some, see, I can come in here and I can pull that out and just come just like that. Add more water to it, and it's gonna do some other things. And then I could just go like this, and I wouldn't need to add any more water to my brush. And we'll come up to this one up here. It's still pretty wet, but not as wet. So I'm gonna drag, I put some in there, and put a little more. And I'm gonna drag from there right down. Of course, that defined it a little more, but you see what you can do. I can, before it dries, while it's wet, you can, add things to it. When it dries, it's, not gonna mix anymore because now it's dry. So it's just gonna, this is still all mixing. And I could, with see here, the water here, I could move and tip this way and that way. If you can watch the water moving on different ones, you might have to, do the video a couple times to see the different ones. But you see this purple here is moving because it's not dry yet. So you see these things can be done. Get my little thing there. So that's, that's another way to do all this. Now, say I wanted to add, well, this is still wet, so I can grab some of this and I can make some light colored. I can come in here with some water, grab that, make some light colored ones, or come in here with some blue. We got a lot of water on our brush, so everything's kind of shiny with water. Water's happening. I could take quite a lot of water on my brush and just kind of, without watering the paper, just kind of taking it from that stem, dragging it and touching that. Oh, that's so beautiful when that happens. See? Now I have a little bit of wet right here still, so I could come with something on my brush here. Come on up and touch that, and that's going to do something particular because I've touched this one. It's going to run. I could do it 2 times. There we go. Do it like that. And because that's still wet, it's running into each other, which is, you know, the magically beautiful, wonderful stuff of watercolor. Now I've got some white here, so if I was to start from here and just sort of make something out. Right now I've got some purple and some, see, I grabbed that color, which without even getting any more color, so that made something pretty there. So these are the fun, you know, things that you can do with watercolor. Sometimes you don't even have to have something in mind. Just drop watercolor on the paper, drop the paint into it. One of the ways to, you know, make the designs over the paper is get your brush really wet, go into one of the colors, get it real wet. Take another brush and hold it and tap it. Now you're going to get these really pretty. But this is another thing for loose, you know, for loose things, loose painting. So all this, you know, is a fairly, it's wet and it's light colored, right? It's pastel-y. When this dries, like this here is getting to a fairly dry mode, and I could probably come back over, but it's not going to be wet on wet. It's going to be, right here's a good place. It's going to be some wet on dry. So we'll just, this is pretty dry now, so I'm coming over and I'm taking that. I can go over it like this, but it's not moving. See, it's not moving because it's pretty much dry. Now if I took some water and came into this color and got it all wet, guess what's happening? It's moving. Say I take some blue and I come in. It's moving. You can see that it's moving. Let me get a different color, like some pink here or something. You know, it's moving. I could move that around, which if I, see with the, see that watercolor moving? And you can mix up some things that way. You'll get some pretty designs going on within things. Another way, and another thing I do sometimes, I do it both wet on dry and dry on wet. To get some wet, and to get these sort of effects like this, is wet, poke the paper and wet it, then come back to a color and put it on, and it's going to kind of do its little own thing here. It's going to, you know, smudge and so forth, and then you could come in and take some paint out, go back into the darker color, say, put that in. Like I could come into some yellow, put that in. And it's going to go as far as what I just wet. Let's do that again right here. I'm wetting that area. I'll get some blue this time. And you see it's defined, but it's smudged looking, you know, which is what the wet on wet kind of looks like. The more water I would add, the more it's going to look like that. And it's going to fade. You know, the color's going to fade out a bit. And then you go back in, you put some more, you put some color again, either when it's dry or just like I did just right there. So these things are so much fun, really, really fun. We could do this flicking action to get this if you were really good and precise at the flicking action, because it kind of goes everywhere. You'd have to really learn how to direct those dots, or how to direct those flicks. So now that this is getting, you know, quite a bit drier, I'm going to get some darker color. And what I'm going to do here, trying to find a place. Just come right here. And even though it's wet, we're just going to put it right over. Everything is still a bit damp. But my brush is not loaded with water, but it has quite a bit of water in it. So that's what that looks like on top of the watercolor wash, right? Another thing we can do is we can come over here if we want to get the background kind of colored, okay? Let's take some of it, come in here, wet it, and move it around. Just grab it from where it's all, see? I just grabbed the pink. I have a wet brush here, and I'm grabbing it from where I just put it. And here I can actually use some of the dots but I'm going to lose the dots that way, so I'd have to go back in and put the dots. But here I could grab the purple. And now we are, you know, like we're getting the background decorated, which is fun. We could grab this green, come up over here and grab the green. You have to wet it. So those are other things you can do, like even after, because you can re-wet it, which I just did there. So I think, you know, for this particular exercise, I mean, the other thing too is that, you know, you can go back in with colors and you can add them. It's not going to move. It's not going to blend. It's going to be where you put it because it's not wet. I can go in and wet some again, and that would reactivate. So you can do those things as well. Come in here, add some of this yellow to here. This is kind of wet still. Isn't it funny how your tongue, you go to say something, you want to say something and you say something else that you don't want to say. I really think it's the afternoon thing for me. So anyway, you know, flicking, you know, just grab some more paint and, you know, like I got some gamboge here, flick it around, make some other things on top of what you've got. You know, I'm just kind of doing things here. But, you know, so, and where that's, even though that's dry underneath, I can wet that. And I can it's called activating it. So I activate it and kind of, see, I can activate that again. Put that into here. These are just all the cool things you can do with watercolor. So that's, in this particular exercise, that's really all I wanted to show you today for this, the funness of water and watercolor. So have a go of it, folks. Check out my other stuff. I hope you're having a wonderful day, and bye for now.